Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Here we go. Wholesale Hotline number 69. I've already seen some dirty comments in the comments section. That's what we love here. Let's get raw, let's get real. But before we get going here, because this is going to be very heavy Jamil Damji expertise here, comping properties, letting you know, is this a deal or not a deal? And secondly, how big of a deal is it? That's what we're going to be going through here. I am your host, Brent Daniels, along with Pace Morby and Jamil Damji. We are pumped. This is the 69th
pew, pew,
time. Yeah,
pew,
we have
pew.
come here. And remember, before we get started, every time that you watch this show, that you listen to a podcast, that you're going through YouTube, that you're reading a book, remember, it's not what you get out of it. It's what it gets out of you, right? It has to, you have to look for 1, 2, 3 things in the show that is going to inspire you to take serious action and move the ball down the field, move you up the path to where you want to go, whether it be financial freedom, replacing your income so that you can do this full time, whether it's just paying off debts, whatever it is, whatever your goals are, it all starts with taking action. So it's not just sitting back and letting us entertain you, though we will. It is about taking the action items, the instruction that comes from this 90 minutes that we spend every Monday together, and make sure that you get something out, that you are, this is getting something out of you. All right. Every time.
Ooh.
So with that, boom, PB&J are ready. Jamil, looking good, man. I don't know, all that lettuce that you're growing on top of your head, I love it. Look at that. Holy cow.
How are you?
Jeez. I'm good. I'm excited about this. People are already posting properties that they want to get cut up. So I'm going to turn it over to you, brother, and however you want to structure this and run this thing, I think it's going to be absolutely bananas.
Awesome. So before we go, guys, I want to share something. Please just ignore my really messy. Actually, Pace, can you do me?
I already started thinking about how messy your desktop is.
It's terrible. Can you share? I
can easily share it, no problem. You need to go full screen though.
I emailed it to you.
Oh, you want me to do the appraisal rules?
I want you to share those.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait. That's actually one of my favorite things you ever talk about.
Pen and paper, everybody, for real. Pen and paper. Where's my pen?
All right, give me just a second. It's pulling up right now. So Jamil, why don't you preface and tell us what these appraisal rules are like? Where did this come from? Why did you put this together?
So thanks. The reason I put these appraisal rules together was because my belief is that understanding value is the foundation of your real estate career. I got to the position I got to in this business because I was very good at understanding how much a property is worth. When I was able to understand how much a property was worth, I was then able to determine how much I could actually offer on that property for it to be a deal. That's it. You need to know how much something is worth in order to understand whether or not you have a deal or no deal. Now listen, guys. The one thing that I can honestly say that has been the dream killer of 99.9% of wholesalers is canceling their first deal that they get under contract. They have all this time that they're cold calling, they're talking to people, maybe they're sending out text messages, maybe they're sending out direct mail, maybe they're JVing, whatever that is, whatever the lead generation technique is. Maybe they're working with an agent. I don't give a shit. Okay, what I care about is that when you don't understand what a property is actually worth, you don't know how much to offer for that property. When you don't know how much to offer that property, you end up locking up deals too high. When you lock up deals too high, you can't find a buyer. When you can't find a buyer, you don't get a check. And when you don't get a check, you get discouraged. And when you get discouraged, you get negative feelings. And when you get negative feelings, you get negative thoughts. And when you get negative thoughts, those compound, and that kills your dreams. That kills your dreams. And I would hate to see any one of you guys that are doing your part in motivating yourself and putting in action and doing work lose all of that because you didn't understand these simple basics. Pace asked, where did these come from? The title says it, guys. Appraisers. Okay, I've done thousands of transactions. I've dealt with hundreds and hundreds of appraisers. In fact, I did the appraisal school. I just didn't become a licensed appraiser because I had no business being a licensed appraiser, but I learned this stuff. And I've conversed with appraisers across the nation who've said to me, Jamil, these rules are incredible. How did you deconstruct 9 months of school that I had to go to become an appraiser and put them on one piece of paper? Because that's what I do. Because that's what we do. We take all of the nonsense, we distill it into its core information, and we disseminate it to you so you can not waste time. Guys, the appraisal rules are the rules that your buyers are using when they are determining how much the ARV on a property is. Why? Because when they go to sell that property, they are subject to these rules, which is why they have to be why your deal is subject to these rules as well. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Let's go through them. So, when you are comping a property, you need to make sure that your subject property, so the property that you might be talking to a seller about, the property that you might have a JV deal with, the property that an agent sent you, your potential deal, okay? Your potential deal, that we're going to call the subject property. And we're going to call the comp for simplicity. You need to make sure that your comp and your subject property are in the same subdivision. The same subdivision. That doesn't, so if you have a property in Orange Grove Subdivision 1, does that mean you can comp in Orange Grove Subdivision 3? No. Why? Because Orange Grove Subdivision 1 and Orange Grove Subdivision 1, those are going to be the truest comps. Subdivision 3 might have happened 10 years later. Okay? Same subdivision. Your comp and your subject property need to be within plus or minus 200 square feet of each other. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that they need to be 200 square feet apart. I mean, they need to be plus or minus 200 square feet of each other in size. So if your subject property is 1,200 square feet, you can use a comp that is 1,000 square feet up to 1,400 square feet. That's about it. Once you go above 200 or below 200 square feet, now your dollar per square foot starts to skew. All right? Here's something I see a lot of new wholesalers do, which is incorrect, is they'll get a comp, say for 1,000 square foot house that's sold for $250,000. Okay, I'm just making numbers up, but I'm doing this to give you an example. Then your subject property ends up being 2,000 square feet. So you think you can take the dollar per square foot from your 1,000 square foot comp and apply that to your 2,000 square foot subject, and that's not correct. You can only do that when your subject and your comp are within 200 square feet of each other. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You can only compare properties that are of the same type. So if you have a single-story rancher, your comp must be a single-story rancher. If you have a 2-story house as a subject, can you use a comp that's a rancher, a single story? No. You can only use a 2-story. You can only compare a 2-story house to a 2-story house. If your property is in a historic district, but your comp is only one street over, but it's not in that historic district, can you use it? No. If your property is in a historic district, your comp must be in a historic district as well. When you are looking at your subject property to find the comp, you cannot cross any major roads. Okay, you cannot cross any major roads. An appraiser will always use a comp that is closer to your subject before they will ever leave a subdivision or before they will ever cross any major roads. My rule of thumb is it's better to use a comp that's old, even 2 years old. So it's better to time travel than leave your subdivision to go and try and fit your comp to your narrative. Here is something that new wholesalers do often, and I want to tell you this because I want you to be honest with yourself and see when you have tried to do this. I've done it when I started. I know Brent's done it when he started, and I'm sure Pace did it when he started, is when we start to do gymnastics, trying to find a comp that's not usable, but we want to tell a story. We want to say why our deal is a good deal. We want to try to get a buyer to buy it. So we go and do mental gymnastics. We break all these rules and we pull comps from wherever the hell they are to try to justify our ARVs. And guys, I am on every wholesaler's list. I see deals across the nation. And I can't tell you, but I can tell you this, 95% of the stuff that comes through my email is trash. Why? Because they're not following these rules. I feel so strongly about this that we share this on a free show, that I give this away on my Instagram. I do a weekly comping show on my YouTube that's absolutely free. You don't even have to be an astro flipping to do it. I do this because I care so much about your ability to see what is a deal versus what is not a deal. It is so pivotal to your journey. It is so important that you understand this, because if you can get this right, you will become the best in your market. I promise you that.
Can I jump in for just a second and say a couple things?
Please.
Because I think that you're doing a really great job stating these facts, but I'm not like you. The second I see somebody that justifies a horrible comp in their emails as a wholesaler, I unfollow their buyers list. I don't even, you and I were at lunch today, Jamil, and I saw a couple of other wholesalers lists, like you have notification turns on your phone. Yeah. So as your phone's sitting there on the table, I see all these emails coming through, and I'm literally like, I unfollowed that guy's buyers list like 6 months ago. Oh, I unfollowed that girl's buyers list 2 years ago. Jamil stays on top of this stuff. I don't know how he does it, because it drives me wild how poor some of these wholesalers comp or don't comp, and they reach and they reach and they reach. And here's what ultimately happens that I see, and I'm sure Jamil sees this all the time, and Brent's got to see this maybe even more than me. I see those same wholesalers complaining, why can't I sell my deals? And man, wholesale is really, really hard, because I go lock up 7 contracts and I only sell one of them. It must be my buyers list. I need a bigger buyers list. I need a bigger buyers list. And look, a buyers list is important. The way you disposition is important, but you can't just sell bad deals to, intelligent cash buyers, right? So how often are you seeing people just cancel contracts or discount their properties multiple times before you don't see them on their email chain anymore, Jamil?
I mean, I don't unfollow anybody. And as you had just mentioned, Pace, I don't remove myself from buyers lists. In fact, something that I preach to my astro flipping community, and for those of you that are watching this on Wholesale Hotline, there is an obligation, if you truly believe in the community, if you truly believe in value as service, in giving people value as a service without any expectation of a result, then it is your job to reach out to those people and say, hey, help me understand how you got to this number. Great. You have no justification. Let me show you what I would comp this at. And build community that way. So if one of you guys in the comments right now are one of those people that send out crappy deals, okay, that aren't real, then the numbers aren't real, and someone reaches out to you next week and says, hey, Jamil said I should reach out to you and say, let me help you. Take that as a good thing. Don't get defensive. Don't get defensive. Don't get mad. This is not about telling you you're doing it wrong. The problem is, guys, is that a lot of people have gone to YouTube University, and that's cool. I'm so okay with getting a free education. I think it's totally fine. But you haven't spent enough time learning this piece. You haven't, because why? Because this isn't sexy. When Pace is talking to sellers, sexy. When I'm talking about comping deals, not sexy. I get it. I get that. Okay, but you want to know what's sexier than Pace talking to sellers?
Cashing a check.
Motherfucking checks, yo.
Yeah.
All right.
Love it. And I think, when you're getting started out, I think that this is a big intimidation. You know what I mean, Jamil? I think that you got to practice this. You've got to be able to. And what do you suggest? I mean, do you just practice as you're talking to people, or you just pick, your driving for dollars list, for example, and you just start comping it? It's kind of, there's a balance there, I think, Jamil, because I think that a lot of people hide behind, well, I got to comp all these properties before I go talk to the property owners. And I'm like, hey, listen, talk to the property owners, see if they want to sell the property first and then start doing the work. But I think that there's some overlay there where you can grab some properties and you can comp them and then and run them by somebody that has some experience. I mean, listen, we're not going to toot our own horns here because whatever, but everybody, Jamil's students, my students, Pace's students, they all know they can reach out to either us personally, me personally, somebody on your team, them personally, and they're going to get that safety net, right? We can talk about that, but we're just let's just go everybody out there that's not in these programs. You need to have somebody that can help you out, whether that be somebody local, somebody that you're squatting up with in the comments here, somebody that has some more experience, has closed some deals to give you that confidence, to kind of buddy up with you as you're starting out. And then you start comping some properties and seeing, how well you do. What do you think, Jamil?
Well, you know what? I think a great way to learn would be, right? I've got, I don't know, maybe 10 episodes of Straight Outta Compin'. Yeah. They're an hour long on my YouTube channel. They're all free. You could watch that. You could comp every one of the houses that I'm comping as right alongside me, and pause me, put me on pause, and then see what you got for ARV, and then watch what I do.
Love it.
I talk out loud. I tell you exactly what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, I can't go over here. This is too far. Oh, I'm not going to use this one because of this. Oh, I think this one is suspect, and this is why. And so you're going to start to get an understanding, and then you start to get really quick. Jake Winters was talking in the chat here, but literally, right? I can comp a deal in 30 seconds. 30 seconds. It's not rocket science. This is easy. Once you start to get practice, guys, it takes practice, but once you get the practice, this gets very quick.
Yep. Let's start comping.
Let's comp some houses, yo. Let's see.
I told Tristan and Kamahai that I would have you comp theirs first because Tristan and Kamahai. They're mastermind students of mine, and you also know that they are in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to comp properties in Hawaii, right, Jamil?
It's not impossible to comp properties anywhere.
Love it. Here we go. On the screen, if you need me to list it out for you, do you want to do a screen share? What do you want to do?
Did my screen share?
I see it. You need to click your screen over to a different screen so I can see it in the back drop. There we go. Boom, you got it. You got it. There you go. So you're using batch leads to comp.
Correct.
I thought batch leads was only for texting.
No, it is the most amazing comping tool that I've been able to find. Honestly, I used to use Zillow. Believe it or not, it was a free service, but they are so interested in writing offers now instead of helping people understand the value of their homes that they actually have totally broken their system. All right.
Here we go.
What's the address, Pace?
On the screen, but I will give it to you. It's kind of hard for me to say it, so I'll spell it for you. It's 1020 Kaluanui Road.
Kaluanui?
Kaluanui Road.
Okay, and it's in Honolulu?
Yep.
Honolulu 96825.
Honolulu, Hawaii. Active on the MLS. All right. So let's talk about this first.
It could be one of their flips because I know Tristan and Kamahai flip a lot, so they might be throwing one at you that they've already comped or already listed just to verify their own thing. As you know, Tristan and Kamahai are making six figures almost on every single project property that they fix and flip. So let's see if it is theirs.
Well, first things first, I'm going to see that it's been active since May 15th, 2021. It is now June 14th, 2021, in the hottest market in the history of the United States. That tells me this price of 1.199 is high. Right off the hop, that's what I can tell you because I can see this has been available for a month. It's still active. That means this is so overpriced because people are overpaying by tens of thousands, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. This is so overpriced that it still can't, that they couldn't get an offer on this even a month after being listed. That right away, I can tell you that. Let's see what it's really worth though. So we got a 1985 built, 1976 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath. It is on a half-acre lot, little over half-acre lot.
Can I mention something real quick, Jamil?
Yes, please.
When I'm looking at properties and they pop up in the 70s and 80s, I know it's going to be a wacky floor plan. So if that thing has not been updated since the 80s, that's what's holding this thing back. And when you're looking at that, just you gotta factor a lot more rehab cost to get it to a more digestible floor plan, something that's open, something that's more modern. I mean, this is 30 years old, 35 years old, back when, you know, smaller rooms and more intimacy and that type of thing was the style. Now it's open and free and bright and light and the whole thing. So you know, just that is a consideration.
Brent, you couldn't be more right. You know, Pace and I have been flipping houses together for our current project that we're doing, our secret special project. Wouldn't you say, Pace, that's something we see in these 1970 and 1980 houses is just floor plans that are completely shut off from everywhere else in the house?
Yeah, it's super interesting.
I'd love to see these pictures of this property. See if they've opened it up yet.
So these there are no pictures on Batch, but we could probably check Zillow and see what we can find there.
So while you're pulling that up, Bob Sadeye says, and Bob's great. You and I just met him, Jamil, over in at our California meetup in LA. So Bob, it's not that we don't use PropStream. In fact, all of us use PropStream.
Yeah,
all of us do. Okay. Not using PropStream and only using batch leads would be like, I only shop at Walgreens when I need something. It's not smart. Guys, I shop at Amazon when I want this. I shop at Walmart when I want that. I go to Target for my baby's diapers because they have a brand I really like at Target. No joke. We literally go to Target just for one brand of diapers that none of the other stores carry. So it's the same thing with all these tools. PropStream has things that Batch Leads doesn't. They have specific lists that are more challenging to pull than pulling on Batch Leads. And guess what? It's vice versa. So when you're in a business making hundreds of thousands of dollars, a $99 subscription per month is not even it's not even on our radar. Okay. Yes, it shows up on a P&L, but for $99, an extra tool that's going to make you tons of money, we use all of them. We use all of them. It's only when you're beginning that you kind of are, counting every little penny. And I totally get that. Find the one you like the most. Find the one that resonates with you the most. Now, you're going to see Jamil comp properties on Batch Leads, but I've already had a conversation with Jamil. He said he'll use PropStream to comp properties in a couple of weeks. There's nothing wrong with PropStream. And there's nothing wrong with batch leads. It's a personal preference. That's all it comes down to.
In fact, I'm just currently learning PropStream so that I can alternate going back and forth between PropStream and batch leads, but I need to learn the software before I come out and make a fool of myself on, the internet by not knowing how to do stuff.
So check this out, Brent and Jamil. Tristan and Kamahai say we had 3. So it sounds like it is their flip.
Okay.
They said they had 3 offers full price first week, took one of those offers and just fell out of escrow. He reached out back out to me last week. So it sounds like it is their flip. And
I think they're seeing if they want to buy it, Pace. Because it's owned
Really?
by a Scott Johnson or a Scott something.
Had 3. Oh, I see what Tristan and
what I mean?
Kamahai are
Like,
saying.
yeah.
I see.
It's
Got
probably a fixer-upper already at that price. I mean, listen, $1 million in Honolulu for 2,000 square foot on the top of a hill. It's got a Zestimate of 1.26. There's no other pictures on it. So I think they're selling this as is, Pace.
Yep. They must be selling it as is. And I'm just looking here to see if I can get any more detail. I want to just point out, can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So first things first, guys, it's interesting. What you got to note is you see this road here. This would be considered a main road. Even though it's a windy road up a hill, there's still traffic. You got to pull in and out of this main road. It's not going to be as desirable as if you are on one of these interior streets like right here, where you'd get off the main road and then turn off. And now one of these lots over here is going to be definitely a lot more desirable than a house that's just on the main road. So right off the hop, we need to take that into consideration.
Isn't this so fun, Jamil? Just comping properties in Hawaii. I love it, dude. I love it. I love looking at all these like really cool places like San Diego or San Francisco or Hawaii. And you just look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is cool.
What about like Apache Junction or
like
anything?
tiny little properties in West Phoenix to comping, in Hawaii. It's great.
So I can see a lot of evidence here for $1 million sales. I mean, there's $1 million sale after $1 million sale after $1 million sale after $1 million sale. You've got an active here at 2 million. I'm not seeing, any reason why this $2 million active is here. It's active. It's not pending. It's not under contract. It's not sold. So I can't use this for any valuation. And there's really nothing else here on this one specific street that shows me $2 million would make sense until you move south, until you move in this direction. Now, I'm not familiar with this little section of Honolulu, but it's interesting to me that there's clusters of $2 million houses over here as opposed to what you get over there. So there could be some elevation differences that are creating that. Again, I'd need to see the topography. When you're looking at and comparing houses on hills, elevation is extremely important. Why? Because views. Because it's certain houses and in certain elevations are going to have better views than others. Some may have views of the water. This one may only have views of the road. That could be the difference of $500,000.
So Jamil, if you just look in the Google, if you Google the address, it actually has some old pictures of it. It's actually really clean. It's on compass.com or something.
Hey, Jamil, while you're pulling that up, can I address a couple of things in the comments?
Sure.
So Connor Winter has a good question. I think you should answer this here in a minute, but I really want to address some impossible ones because I think one of the most common questions I see on your Compin show on Saturdays. What time is that show, by the way?
It's on Sunday at 5 p.m.
Okay, Sunday at 5 p.m.
Yeah, where did you see the pictures, Brent?
It's on it. Just Google it again and look for the site that's Compass. Compass.com.
So Hamilton Mahano says, hey, coaches, how would you comp a property that doesn't have comps around an area with 2-bed, 1-bath, and 800 square feet? Here's the address, or here's the city, Remit Avenue, Canoga Park, California. So Hamilton, my suggestion is you give Jamil the full address. I know it's challenging on a live show, but I would trust him Or everybody else in the comments, if you feel like you have an impossible property to comp, let's give it to Jamil. I like trying to stump him. He doesn't get stumped, but he gets creative.
But I'm going to say this, Pace, and I'm giving this advice right out. If there are no comps where you are looking, don't fucking deal with that property. Why are you trying to go and look? I'm so tired of people telling students, go out and try and find a deal where there's nobody else playing, where there's no activity. Why are you calling sellers where there's no buyers?
Yeah, that's a really great point. So if I can't find a comp, what does that typically mean? Does that mean nobody's fixing and flipping?
There's no liquidity in that area. If there's no comps in their area, there's no buyers in that area, there's no liquidity in that area, get out of Dodge. You're so scared of playing where there's competition because you think competition is a problem.
Are you done comping that Hawaii property?
I'm not done comping the Hawaii property, no.
By the way,
okay.
if the gentleman's brave enough to put the full address, I'd like to.
He did. He put it in here.
There's no comps type of thing.
We got it. Hamilton Mahano gave us the full address.
Beautiful. Can you see my screen?
I sure can right now. I just put it up on the screen.
So I did look at those pictures, Brent, and what I did see on those pictures was that it is fronting the main road.
Yep.
The comps that I could see. So I think a lot of these higher value comps, these $2 million comps, they were set back, meaning they didn't have Main Street access. They had different views. And so I'd be very careful, Tristan and Kamahai, I'd be very careful of this property because I think that when you are on the main road, you can only compare it to other sales that are off the main road. And off the main road, all I'm seeing that has sold are $1 million houses. So this is $200,000 over what I think this should be sold at its peak. At its peak. What's next?
Yeah, you could definitely comp that remnant one there. Plenty of comps there, Jamil. It's just that I get what he's saying. I mean, maybe there's I don't know. I'm looking right now and there's a lot of there's some solid comps for sure.
Hey, can you read me the address, Pace?
The impossible one?
Yeah. I can't copy and paste off the chat.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, no problem. It's 7501 Remmet Avenue, REMMET Avenue, 7501 Remmet Avenue, Canoga Park, California, 91303.
Beautiful. Thank you, Pace. We got a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, 840 square foot house in Canoga Park, California, little suburb of Los Angeles, Canoga Park. Little valley area over here, little valley action.
Man, those properties are woo, yeah.
I remember when Canoga Park was like, I mean, look, you can see what Canoga Park was like. Check this out. Look at this. Look at these. It's a junkyard. Look at how much they're selling these houses for.
Not anymore.
All right. So where is this one? Let's try Batch.
I got one in the neighborhood sold for $705, 1,300 square feet.
Now that is significantly larger than our comp, than our subject.
Yep. And then I've got a 648 that sold for $535, Jamil.
648 square footer?
Yep.
Okay.
But it was September of last year.
Okay. You could possibly apply some appreciation to that, which I sometimes have to do if I can't find anything that's good within, nearby that's sold recently. I will apply appreciation to it just so that I can get a more accurate number.
And by the way, it looks like this neighborhood, Jamil, was, I mean, you've got stuff from 1929. I think that's what's screwing up Hamilton is that it was built in 1929. And a lot of this neighborhood was then built up in the 40s. We've got stuff in the 40s. We've got stuff 2019. I mean, you got some new builds in there. Yeah, I mean, you've got stuff from the 20s to 2019 right there in that neighborhood.
So you've got a little 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom here, sold built in 1920. It's 912 square feet, but 2019 was 440. So I would probably inch us up closer to the 5s. Let's see this one over here. Here we got a 29 build from September 24th of 2020. This is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 704 square feet, sold for $565,000. And that is about 140 square feet shy of our property. That pushes us up into the 6s.
Yep.
Let's see if we can find anything else here. Just expand that search a bit.
I mean, it's got a Zestimate at 603. It's not far off.
No, it's not far off at all. Here we got some more.
Hey, Jamil, do you know how to make your screen zoom in a little bit? Do you know that? Can I show you how to do that? Don't push it. Don't click on anything.
Okay.
Don't click on anything. Go to your keyboard and it says Command right next to your space bar.
Yep.
Hold down Command.
Okay.
And then up near your delete button, there's a plus sign. Plus, hold down Command and press plus.
Okay.
There you go. Do it like 2 more times.
That
Boom.
better?
Oh, so good, bro. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Okay, cool. Sorry, guys.
No worries. That's so much better. Thank you.
Thank you, Pace.
You know, it's interesting. I've got this guy, Joshua Kim, in the side chat. I just want to kind of call him out. He's kind of being a jerk.
Okay.
He says, Jamil says he can comp properties in 30 seconds, but look at him. He's taking so much time. So I reply back and I say, hey, Josh, he's trying to give you free value and walk you through the process. I imagine you're just joking, right? And his response is this: gurus making high promises and can't deliver. I have no problem with y'all, but stop the cap. He then says, it doesn't matter if you give free value if you can't deliver on what you promise.
Hey, Josh, suck on my dick, bro.
I cannot believe that is,
he doesn't get to play with us anymore. See ya, bitch.
He's blocked. I can't even believe that truly somebody comes in here and has that kind of poisonous spread. Guys, if there's anybody that comes in here and leaves those types of comments, please let us know. I cannot even believe that somebody would waste their time in a free live where 400 other people are watching this. 400 people are live between our YouTube channels, etc. Guys, that is not the community we're trying to build.
Bro, it's all good. He's probably not even a real person.
What a total turd.
It's just some guy who doesn't brush his teeth in the morning who feels bad about himself. Leave him alone. It's all good. It's all good. Joshua, if that's really your name, we love you. Brush your teeth and you can come back. All right. I think 610. 610 on that one. So if I'm you right now in Southern California, you probably got to be somewhere around 75% of ARV to be competitive. So at 610, your offer should be around 460.
Bro, you lock that up at 460. That's a nice deal. That's a really nice deal.
Are we talking about the 800 square foot deal?
Yep.
My goodness. What is going on with our market, guys? What is going on? It is bonkers.
It is nuts.
Okay, so we've got Medium Wave. Dave has got one in East Hampton. When was the last time you comped a property in East Hampton, Jamil?
Bro, I comp houses all over the place on Straight Outta Compton.
But real quick, Jamil, why do you think that he didn't think that there was comps there? Was it just because of the age? Do you think it was the size?
I think it could have been the age. Between 1920 and 1940, that again, I want to get back to the appraisal rules, because typically what I said, plus or minus 5 years, that is what that really means is build generation. Right now, from 1970 to 1980 to 1990 to 2000 to 2010 to 2020, we've had multiple build generations because we've had such an escalation of productivity in the home building sector. However, in the early 1900s, there are very few build generations happened. Why? Because they weren't building that many houses then, so they were using the same construction materials in 1905 as they were in 1920. And so, again, you can't compare a 1920 house to a 1940. I think he was probably getting stumped there. But when you use a product like Batch Leads or PropStream, it lets you filter out on what year of construction it is. And so, my idea my thoughts would be, you definitely should use a software like that because it'll allow you to filter out all of the noise and you can just get right to what is apples to apples. And we saw quite a few 1920 builds when we were using the Batch software.
Love it. Wait till you see this one in East Hampton.
All right, let's check it out.
Jamil, do you run into that a lot on your show on Sunday where people say there's no comps and then very quickly you find a comp?
Yeah, I think it's just like they don't understand what's a comp versus what's not a comp, right? I think that's truly what ends up happening. It's like it's not like they can't see them. They can see the same things we see. They've got the same eyeballs, right? But it's truly whether or not they understand that it's something that they can use. I think that's where the problem lies.
Got it. Okay, let's jump on this East Hampton deal. This has got to be crazy though. Hampton, like in the Hamptons.
I love how Jamil went straight sour patch hood.
Oh, bro, there's so many good comments. I'm glad I brought that up. I usually, like, whenever we get a weird person come in the live, like 1 out of 10 episodes, I'll usually just delete them. But I just felt compelled to let some of the community know, like, this is not how we operate, guys.
And guys, no, it's all good, man. If you come and like legit step on my toes or act like a jerk, I'll check your chin.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So 11 Sag Harbor. I don't know what that is. TPKE?
Turnpike.
Let's check it out.
Can you tell can you tell I don't know what a turnpike is?
You don't have turnpikes here.
We do not have turnpikes.
Ooh, that is not a liked address on Batch. Let's check it on Zillow. Did you find it on Zillow?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a for sale by owner. It needs some love for sure. I mean, obviously this area is just a bananas price. He's got it on at 2.25. And I don't know. We'd have to check. I don't know how long it's been on.
Where do you see this for sale by owner, Brent?
Zillow?
I'm not seeing.
Where'd you have that, Matt?
Hey, Jamil, will you do that command plus like four times on your keyboard?
It's on a local site there called Out East.
Got it.
Perfect.
So we got a 4-bed, 3-bath, 1950 square footer in East Hampton, New York. And this one was built in 1998. It's sitting on a 0.43 acre lot. Looks fantastic. Wow.
What a cute, man.
What a dream. What a dream to live out in East Hampton, New York.
How close to the water is that? Can you also tell I don't know much about East Hampton? I just think every house there is a beach house.
Well, obviously, Pace, it's on the turnpike, so not that close.
Oh, is this the one here? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So they've got it listed for 2.25.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here's our subject. We've got a sale right over here on Bull Lane. But this one on Bull Lane or Buell Lane, look at that. Fully remodeled.
Oh my gosh, that's cute.
Fully remodeled. 4-bed, 4-bath, 3,000 square footer.
This guy's swinging for the fences.
This guy is swinging for the fences. So we got a house and it was a brand new build, 2016. So this 2.2 is so far off of reality. Let's see what else we got.
By the way, listen, if it's I assume that this is probably an owner occupied. Remember, guys, when you're dealing with owner occupieds and they've got it on as a for sale by owner, they're always going to push the value. They're going to try to get as much as they possibly can. They have some wacky idea. They don't want to list it with a real estate agent because they can negotiate it themselves. And an agent is probably telling them, hey, listen, you should list this thing for way less than they expect. So when you are communicating and doing the lead follow, you got to hit them between the eyes with your price and move on. If they're nowhere even close, then move on.
So here's another thing just to pay attention to, guys. Here, look at the irregular lot size of this subject property. See this? It's like they took one big lot and then they subdivided it into 4 separate little parcels here. Right? So this irregular lot shape is definitely going to be a downside.
This is making me want to move to East Hampton.
For sure, dude.
Holy moly.
Right? And then you got a 2.7 sale here. Again, this 2.7 completely remodeled. Look at this kitchen. Look at this bathroom. It's like a storybook. Look at who gets to live in this bedroom. Oh my gosh. Just a beautiful site. But again, this sold at 2.7, 3,000 square footer. Okay.
I think I'm going to convince my wife to move to Hampton, East Hampton.
I think that would not be a bad idea. So now you've got here, this kind of looks like more along the lines of what we had, but this is 500 square feet larger. Okay. And that's sold at 1.9. We can't see if this was updated or not. So I'm not going to make a sweeping generalization on it. And let's just see what this looked like. This was a 2,000. Here we go. A 2,000 square foot, 3-bed, 3-bath. And look at that. Gorgeous house. Gorgeous on the inside. They could have used a little bit of updating in the kitchen. It's not bad though. I mean, that
the flooring is laminate.
Is that laminate?
Yeah, it's yellow, outdated laminate.
Is that laminate or is that original hardwood, Pace?
No, that's that room right there. It looks like tile.
No, it's wood.
That's wood, Pace.
Yeah.
What is it? Painted wood?
No, it's just like that original wood. It you can't really see it in the lighting here, but that's what it is.
Got it. Okay.
They've refinished it. Strange though, but it's all of this feature. This is all very expensive work. Like none of this is cheap to do. Even though it's got like a quaint sort of look to it, it's definitely a job. So this sold at $2 million, updated, 2,000 square feet. My opinion is you'd probably use that as your ARV for our property. You'd want to be at 75% there as well. So if you had a $2 million ARV, you probably want to be offering somewhere in the range of 1.5, which means he's about $725,000 overpriced.
And there you go, Pace. It's only $11,000 to $11,296 a month, and it's yours, baby.
There you go.
Back it up. Yeah, add another 2,000. Why not?
Jamil, what are your obviously we got some more comping to do and we got some time. Do you have different rules for like commercials or commercial buildings or apartment complexes? A lot of people don't know this interesting fact about Jamil. He got his start in doing and wholesaling apartment complexes. In fact, when Jamil and I drive around town together, which is very frequent, he's like, I wholesaled that deal. I wholesaled that deal. I wholesaled that deal. So is it different when I'm looking at multifamily and is it different when I'm looking at commercial?
Yeah. So both the commercial and multifamily, your value is determined based off of cap rate. It's all income. And so unless you've got the income,
is cap rate what that Josh Kim was talking about when he said no cap? What like at the rate at which you cap? What does that mean?
Yeah. It's the rate at which Josh Kim creates excuses for himself.
So what is cap rate?
Cap rate is the capitalization rate. So that is what the actual ROI, the return on investment that an investor will get after expenses on a property. And so when you're looking at commercial, when you're looking at multifamily, what we need to know is what are the rents. Now, very often sellers aren't going to give you the expenses. So we can make some generalizations, or we can make some assumptions on what those expenses will be. Typically, a well-run building will run at 60% profitability or 40% expenses. So I will usually look at the rents, and then I'll determine whether or not we're in a high appreciation, high demand market, where I'll use the 1% rule. And if we're in a low demand, low appreciation market, I'll use a 2% rule. And that's what will allow me to determine how much I can offer on a multifamily or a commercial property.
I like how people thought you were serious about the cap.
Guys,
Anyway,
sometimes I ask questions as if I don't know what I'm talking about, so that I can encourage Jamil or Brent Daniels to answer the question in the way that you guys need to hear the answer.
You know what? Jared Frankham asked an important question early on, Jamil, and I'm real curious. He asked, do you put comps in when you're sending out your deals to your cash buyers? Do you add comps in there? Or do you let them pull their own?
We never add comps.
Right. Explain why.
Because everyone is going to do their own gymnastics when they're determining what value is. And whether or not you give a buyer your idea of a comp, they may or may not agree, right? They may think they can do even better. So you might be creating a benchmark where a buyer might have looked at that deal and said, "Oh, this renovation sucks. I could get easily get an additional $25,000 over what this comp sold for." So no, I'll give an idea of what we think ARV is, but I'll let the buyer find their own comps.
Love it.
Yep.
Daniel Quijano says Kimberly's is a fourplex. You want to do a fourplex real quick?
Only if I've got the income.
Okay, Kimberly, can you get the income for us, because he's going to go off cap rate. And let's hold off on Kimberly's for a minute until she can get us the income, okay? Guys, if you have a multifamily, triplex, quadplex, anything larger than that, give us the address and then give us the income for the unit so Jamil can do his magic on this deal, okay?
And Tampa's pretty hot right now. There it is.
Daniel Quijano gave us 205 North Albany, Tampa. It's the same one. He's just copying and pasting. Daniel Quijano is amazing. By the way, Brent and Jamil, you know who Daniel Quijano is?
Nobody's handsome.
He is handsome. He's one of the leaders in Sub 2. He is the gentleman who put together the competition for role playing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And we have a couple of really cool guests that are coming in to do the role play competition. We've got, who's the gentleman? I forget his name off the top of my head. He wrote, dang it, Chris Voss. Sorry. Chris Voss is coming in to actually judge the next big competition. Daniel Quijano is the guy who put that together. He's an amazing, amazing gentleman. Good leader.
Wow, that is pretty incredible. Chris Voss, that's like, does Steve Trang know?
Well, I'm the one that brought Chris Voss, and yes, Steve Trang does know. Steve Trang's going to be on that same episode as well. Daniel Quijano is the one that put all those pieces together and ran the competition. So
you Chris know that Voss, Chris Voss is Steve Trang's man crush, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm setting them up on a mandate.
You're number one, and then Chris Voss is number two.
Okay, so let's see here. I'm not seeing anybody give us any income, so I think we should do a single family for the time being.
Cool. That fourplex is on the market for sale by owner for $450,000. It says it's a 7-bedroom, 4-bath. It was built in 1922, and it is completely destroyed. I would tell them you got to be way lower, way lower, Daniel. I mean, I'm looking at this now, and I comp a lot in Tampa Bay, and I comp a lot of multifamily in Tampa Bay. This thing needs $100K, $120K worth of work. And by that time, I mean, they're trying to get retail for a property that needs a lot of work.
So. We can go back and look at what these rent at, but guys, if you want us to do this in a fast manner, What would the potential rents be? If they're not rented, tell us what these will rent for, right? That'll allow us to get an idea of what this could be worth, and then we can work backwards to determine what you should be offering on it. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep it rolling.
Here's one right here. Jared Frankum, the homie in Lubbock, Texas. So he says, can y'all comp my house? What's funny, guys, is he says it also has a 950 square foot back house. That's where Jared lives. Okay. I know this about Jared because he came out. He's a TTP alumni. And he told me he lives in that 950 square foot back house. It's across the street from the university. So that's got to give it some love.
Is the back house a guest house in Texas?
It's where they smoke their meats.
Is that what they call the
smokehouse?
They say, hey, go stay in the back house, Jared. We're tired of seeing you in the main house, in the front house. You go stay in the back. I'm just kidding. Okay. Give me the address.
The address is 2629 20th Street in Lubbock, Texas. I'm surprised there's more than 20 streets in Lubbock, Texas, to be honest. 2629 2629 20th Street, Lubbock, Texas.
Got no love for the Lubbock, bro?
I love Lubbock. I'm just kidding. I like to tease Jared just a little bit.
All right. We got a 1938 built, 1820 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath, owned by the one and only Jared Frankum. But they've got your name wrong here on your title.
Frank Herb.
Frank Herb. You should probably get that fixed. This is on a 9,400 square foot lot. It is a single family house. Look at that young man, non-smoker, makes way more money than this. Now, when we're comping in non-disclosure states like Texas, you've got to use a platform like Batch Leads or PropStream because things like Zillow won't actually give you any detail because non-disclosure states, they actually don't share information freely there. Oh my God, making this big makes it difficult for me to adjust my filter. So I'll go back and do that in a second. All right.
How many properties you comp a day, Jamil?
I used to comp a couple hundred, maybe more. These days, I've got a few guys that refuse to work with my team. Guys like Jake Winters, Monique Walker. They just love getting me while we're filming our TV show and trying to get a number out of me. And I do it. I do it because I love them. And you got to be that person. You gotta always be on. But I'm probably comping about 20 houses a day now. Interesting. So we've got an active over here, an 18 square foot pending. Jared, this pending is definitely going to do some good for you. So that tells me that you're trending towards 390. But let's see if we can find any justification for that at all. We've got this 2019 sale that's at 295 and nothing else. Nothing else here that justifies this amazingly high pending sale. Jared, as soon as this sale closes, you made yourself a ton of money. Let's just look over here at this Dust Bowl. It's about 10 years newer and about 400 square feet larger, and that sold for $360. So, Jared, this would have been, and again, it's too large to use, but I think this pending, once this closes, Jared, is going to make your house worth around $390K.
Well, that's gonna be real interesting in that neighborhood, right? I mean, there's nothing like that.
Nothing like it
that in that neighborhood. So
should we order Jared like a pizza or something Now that we've got his address, should we order
I
some
would be
food?
curious if you Google that, Jamil, to see if the square footage was right. You know what I mean? See if it's something
Yeah,
that's
let's check it out.
way different, than is actually showing. Because guys, listen, sometimes the tax records aren't 100% correct. So it's always good to Google those properties as well, just to see in the listing, because this is pending, so it's obviously been listed. It would be interesting to see if they say, oh, it's got an addition, or it's got this, or it's a commercial / residential, or something else that would affect and make that value go through the roof. Look at Jason Jackson. I like that. There you go. Some of your dead leads. I love it, Jason. Yes. By the way, do we have any celebration so far? This thing has not rang yet. I am not happy when it doesn't ring, guys. So if you guys have closed a deal in the comments over the since last week, or you lock something up, I want you to post it right now. I want to celebrate you. We all want to celebrate you.
Yeah, Brent, check it out. It's showing 2510 square feet.
And what did it have on tax records?
1900.
Right.
So let's see if they're using a guest house to get that.
And look at that thing. They decked it out. Is that owned by Jared too?
No. No guest house here. So this is all main house.
Yep.
But they do have a basement. So here's the thing. Jared does have a guest house, right? Jared, how many square feet is your guest house?
950.
And how many square feet is the main house?
You'll have to put it in. Nick's got our first bell ringing. What'd he make there? Can you show me that, Matt? Comment. 8,600. There we go.
Jared says the main house is 2,200 square feet.
In his house?
Yes, the main house is 2,200 square feet. By the way, Katie King, who's a student of multiple Astro Sub 2, mom locked up 3 contracts last week. Can I tell you guys something really interesting about Katie King and her mom? So they came out to my mastermind 2 weeks ago, and through the process of our mastermind, we have these things called hot seats, where we get everybody up, we talk about their business, we break everybody down, we kind of embarrass everybody a little bit just to, have full disclosure. And Katie and her mom walked away from the mastermind saying, we realized that our roles were literally reversed. We were both working on the opposite things we should have. And it's amazing to see that right when they get back home from the mastermind, they lock up 3 contracts in 1 week from coming back. So guys, understand your roles and your responsibilities. One thing I wanted to highlight there is that Jamil, whenever I need a property comp, this is probably why Jake Winters and Monique also reach out to you, is it's like, you know what? Jamil's better at comping than me. I just reach out to Jamil and bother him about it. So in the future, if you guys, we only have 30 more minutes on the show. If you guys feel like your lack of comping is holding you and your business back, where do you go for additional help? Jamil, where can they go for additional help continually, by the way, not just one time, not just the 10 episodes you've already done, but for the foreseeable future, where do they go?
They can reach out to a Keegley franchise. If we're in your area, we're happy to help. If you're in one of my corporate markets, you can reach out to us. Send me a DM. If we can help you, we'll definitely help you. Somebody from Sub 2 or Astro that has been trained by me would also gladly jump in and assist you. So it's truly just reaching out, right? Reach out to myself, reach out to Pace, and we will help direct you to the right spot.
By the way, my wife is ordering Jared pizza. She just texted me. She is legitimately ordering Jared some pizza.
So guys, before we get too far, I just want to deal with Jared's property. His main house is 2,200 square feet. His back house is 950 square feet. He only gets half value for his back house. Okay. Which takes his total square footage to 2,675, which is only 100 square feet larger than the comp. So Jared, you have a $400,000 house.
Boom. By the way, we got some celebrations. Albert, go up a little bit, please. Matt. We've got Albert. Go up, please, Matt. There you go. We got Scott. We got Albert. We got Christopher, who just did a deal an hour ago by squatting up with the sub 2. Come on.
Scott Jenkins, yeah, baby. Another shared student between Pace and I. Katie
Incredible.
King, Scott, amazing. You guys are awesome. Awesome.
Listen,
Hey, who wants Jamil's cell phone number? If anybody wants Jamil's cell phone number, I'm happy to give it to you guys, but you have to promise me that 400 people a day will text him and ask him to comp a property for him. If I can get 400 comments in the side chat, I will give you Jamil's personal cell phone number.
Guys, this is step 5. Deal or no deal is step 5. Number 1, you got to identify the targets that you're going after.
Let's get a few more. Let's get 5 more houses in. Let's go.
Do it.
Let's go. What's next?
Number 2 is your marketing strategy. Number 3 is making your initial contact. You have to talk to them. Number 4 is, do they want to sell? Now they're uploaded into your CRM. Number 5 is comping it. Stop just going out and comping everything before you start talking to people. I mean, you could go and you can run some, like Jamil said, you can practice and you can do some comping on his show and test your skills. But you need to be talking to people and then getting into comping. Don't let the comping side of it stop you from starting a conversation with a distressed property owner.
What's the address, Pace?
The address is 717 Crosby Street. Crosby Street. That's in Akron, Ohio, 44302. 717 Crosby Street.
Oh, cute. We got a 1914 built, 1878 square foot, 3-bed, 3-bath. It is a triplex. I need to have rents. Are there rents there, Pace?
Hey, Tyler, remember the part of the show where I said, give us the rent rates? Can you make sure you add that in there, my brother? I would appreciate that. Makes it a little easier. So let's skip over here for a minute. Let's go to something in San Antonio.
Beautiful.
317 West Rosewood Avenue. 317 West Rosewood Avenue. 317 West Rosewood Avenue in San Antonio, Texas.
Active on the MLS. This one has been available since May 31st of 2021. It is 559.5 on the MLS. It is not terrible, a little bit dated, but I think this seller would consider their house pretty renovated, just based off of the pride of ownership that you can see here. This is a 26 square foot house. Let's see if they are out to lunch or on the right track with their pricing.
And guys, send us something that's ugly. Send us an ugly house that's not listed.
Well, this is the majority of stuff I see there, Brent. And that's okay, right? Because when people are out there talking to people, they get a lot of listed houses. But you can start to. The reason why I call out when it's listed is not to make you feel bad. I'm doing that so that you can see, well, what are the why does it matter to Jamil that it's listed? And what are the things that he's looking at to create a story in his mind of what to interpret about the fact that it's been listed and it's been available for 2 weeks and it's still on the market. And, why am I doing that? Why am I calling that out? Those are the things that are important. Typically, I also will just take a look at what like the Zestimate or what the batch guys think it's worth. They're estimating it at 476, which is about $75,000 or $65,000 less than what we got over here. So that's something. Again, that doesn't mean everything, but it's something to think about. So we got a 515 here. This 515 sold in 2020 to 1928 built. So same build generation. It's within 200 square feet. So 515 was a sale. That's about the highest I've got in this little pocket. That's the highest sale I've got in this pocket. Let's see what this is.
Hey, Brent.
406. Nope.
Man to man.
Yep.
Does your team waste any time with on-market properties?
Never.
Either do I, bro. And
No,
I
sorry, go ahead, Pace.
I'm wondering from your perspective, is it because people that are focusing with on-market properties, is it because of a lack of budget, or is it a lack of understanding that Zillow is not where you should be finding your leads?
Well, listen, when the property's on the market, typically, unless it's totally destroyed, I'm not going after it. I want properties that, like Jamil talks about all the time, have potential equity. That's where you get big, massive deals. Now, when you're starting to negotiate with an agent that has gone through a full presentation and has explained to the homeowner what this property is worth, and then they put it on the market, and if it doesn't sell, then it's overpriced. Now, not only do you have an agent that has to defend their value, you also have an owner that already has an expectation that's so high. And if this is an owner-occupied property, what is their problem that we are solving by giving them a cash offer? Remember, there has to be a problem there. People will trade equity, potential equity, for speed and convenience, but they're not going to do that if it's for just because they want to downsize, because they want to move across the street, because they want to go into a different school system. That they should put their home on the market and sell it retail. It is a waste of our time to go there and try to convince somebody. Remember, we are deal finders. We are not deal creators when it comes to wholesaling real estate.
So I'm in the same boat as you. Here's the only thing that I do additional. We will spend time with on-market properties, but we don't even mess around with them until after the 5-month mark as a listing. Okay. And what that means is that the agent typically gets a 6-month listing agreement with that seller, right? That's pretty typical 95% of the time. So if they're 5 months deep into a 6-month agreement, they have 30 days to sell that property, or else they lose their right to list that property. So at that point, I train my students. It's actually the last house that I purchased was I got it from an agent. It was a sub-2 deal. I took over a house for $2,500 and I made like $200,000 in 1 year on the appreciation on that deal. I only spend time with on-market properties if the listing has gone past 5 months. So when somebody sends me a Zillow lead or something, hey, I found this on Zillow, how should I talk to the seller? And it shows it's only been listed for 2 weeks. I go, you don't. What are you wasting your time for? With only 24 hours in the day, you shouldn't spend 1 minute on, in my opinion, with on-market properties.
Okay, guys, back to this house. This is the highest sale we've got was 300 square feet larger than our property. It's also a single story, so this does not work. We cannot use this 638. So we're back to that original.
I think this one's a 2-story, Jamil.
Ours is a 2-story, so we're back to using this.
Yeah.
So the highest sale we've got is a 550. That's the highest sale we've got. And so this is listed at market value or slightly above market value. So there's no deal here.
So Lance says that he has literal pain. He can't even go up and down the stairs. But let's go back to what Brent is talking about. Just because he has physical pain doesn't mean he has financial distress or he needs to move right away. What you've got to find out is, can you either A, negotiate that seller? Where would I have to buy that deal, Jamil, in order for that to be a deal? Let's talk about that. Where would I need to buy that?
So we were in what part? San Antonio?
Yeah, 550 is your exit price, right? That's retail. He's already got it listed for that.
I'd say 400.
Okay, so you'd have to buy it, Lance. If you can buy that deal for $400,000, then it's a good cash deal. If not, I will buy that deal at 550 all day long if you get it for me on seller finance. I will pay $150,000 more than a cash buyer for that exact home. I really will. Looking at the house, I would buy that house. Go get the seller to give us terms, and I will buy that house for 550 personally. You have my word. Go get the house, get the seller on the phone with either me or one of the other sub-2 students. Okay. If you can't do that one on your own, get terms. I will buy that deal at 550, but that is not a cash deal unless you can get it for, what did you say again, Jamil?
400.
400,000. Here's a good one. Ricky Miller, sub 2 student, super awesome guy. 609, isn't that funny? Episode 69 today for Wholesale Hotline. If you guys have not watched or listened to previous episodes, this is episode 69. Is it ironic that it's episode 69 and Jamil is the main speaker today?
I knew you were going to crack something. I knew it would go.
609 Little Avenue, Killeen. Is it Killeen?
Killeen. So, Killeen, Texas, guys, just to give you an understanding of where Killeen, Texas is. Killeen, Texas is between Austin and Waco. It's literally like the middle of nowhere, Texas. I'm not saying that it's not going to have a value. That's definitely going to have a value, but it's not going to have the same kind of activity or buyer activity that you get into Dallas, or you get in Austin, or you get in Houston or a San Antonio. You're going to have a completely different buyer pool there. I would consider Killeen a low appreciation, low demand market, but I wouldn't do the 2%. I'd go 1.5%. So, Ricky, is this a duplex? Because he said active rent 400 each side. I'm imagining it's a duplex, but it could be a triplex. So I need that little bit of information. I'm going to try to pull it up and see if Batch Leads tells me. Pace, can you read me that address, please?
609 Little Avenue, Killeen, Texas. Says active rent is $400 per side.
Looks like a duplex.
Looks like a duplex? Great. All right. So, yes, it is a duplex. Not sure if it's no, it's not. It's showing here that it's is this right? 609 Little Ave?
609 Little Ave.
So it's a non-conforming duplex, meaning that they've converted a single family property. I don't know if you can see this zoning, but the zoning says single family. All right. So if he's selling it as a duplex, it can't be bought as a duplex. You've got to comp this as a single family house. Why? Because when it's sold, the tax record, the zoning, that's what's going to convey with the property. Not the fact that he split a wall through there and decided to rent out half the house. So this has to be comped as a single family. I'm going to comp it as that. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes, sir.
It looks like, Jamil, looks like it's got some pretty old walk-up sidewalks to it.
Yeah, you
it
see that? Look at that.
Could just be an error on the.
It could be, right? So,
like
yeah, there is a path here. There's a path there. Okay, you're right. Thanks for pointing that out, Brent, because I didn't look close enough at the picture, but there you got it. You have it right there. There's one side. There's one side. So he says 400 a unit.
Yes, sir. So
that is $800 a month gross rent. I'm going to times that by 12 to see that I get $9,600 a year in gross rents. That's pre-expenses. All right. Now I'm in low demand, low appreciation.
Do you think they have a Buc-ee's gas station close by?
I probably.
Brent, have you been to Buc-ee's gas station?
Yes. Yeah, I have.
They're like the largest gas stations in the world. They're the size of a Walmart.
They're huge. Yeah.
All right. So, sorry guys, I just want to not lose the train of thought here. We have $9,600 a year in gross rents in a low appreciation, low demand market. I'm going to use the 2% rule. And that's going to take me to a $48,000 offer price. If I'm you, that's what I'm offering on that property, $48,000.
Amazing.
What do you sell it for, Jamil?
You probably add about 15K on top, 10 to 15K on top of that.
So 63 you sell,
yep.
you wholesale for?
Yep.
Just to answer Chris JB's question there, he's asked it a couple times. Yeah, you're going to want to adjust that. He's asking 20% for new construction for land, but if it doesn't have utilities, if it doesn't have any meters, if it doesn't have anything, you're going to have to take that into account. So go low, hit it at 10% and see what you can do. But remember,
hey, Brent.
Yeah.
I've had about 10 comments in the chat saying that your audio needs to be lifted. Can you tell your engineers to raise your volume like maybe 25%?
Yeah.
Apparently Jamil and I are really loud and you're not.
That's because I've been yelling the entire time.
That's usually not a problem. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
bro. Now you sound so good.
All right.
Love that.
All these poor guys listening to this on a podcast are going to be like, oh my gosh, Jamil went on one today. What happened? What happened?
Hey, it's the Compin Show. I see
the-
people, they're like, Brent's so quiet. It's the Compin Show. This is Jamil's show. Like, let's go.
Yeah. So
Hey,
Tyler,
Jamil, can you explain the 2% rule?
absolutely, Tyler. Thanks for asking that. So the way that I look at multifamily is it's going to fall into one of two types of markets. High appreciation, high demand. That'll be an area like Dallas, Austin, Phoenix, LA. Well, LA and NorCal are a little bit different because their cap rates, they trade at such low cap rates. We're going to pull that off the table. But Dallas, Houston, Phoenix, those are all high demand, high appreciation areas. When you're looking at multifamily, investors want to buy on the 1% rule, meaning that they want to get 1% return based off the total purchase price of the house, of the property. So if my total purchase price, let's just say this one property that was in Killeen has $9,600 a year in annual income, what does that mean I can pay? $96,000. It's 1%, right? But because it's a 2% area, because it's not a high demand, high appreciation area, it's a sub-market in Texas, so it follows the 2% rule. I take that number and I divide it by 2. So instead of being able to offer $96,000 on that property, I would be offering $48,000. Why the difference, right? Why is it so much less in a low demand, low appreciation versus a high demand, high appreciation? In a low demand, low appreciation area, the only thing the investor can expect or bank on is cash flow, not appreciation. Whereas in markets like Houston, Dallas, Phoenix, they get cash flow and appreciation. So they get returns that way. So they're willing to forego more rent to get property appreciation. But that's the difference. That's why 2% rules exist for low demand, low appreciation areas, so that investors can get all of their return based off cash flow. Those markets appreciate very, very slowly. And why is that? Because there's typically fewer buyers there. Less demand.
How do you take into account the repairs there? Just back it out?
Yeah, so no, actually the way that the 1% or the 2% rule works is you're going to use that number based off of it needing just cosmetic repairs. If it is in worse shape than cosmetic repairs, those numbers don't, you actually have to do a different metric, and you're going to have to take out the renovation expenses before you calculate that. This is just based off of going strictly cosmetic or rent ready.
Awesome. Yep.
I have a question for Brent. Brent, I would say that you're probably the biggest inspiration, one of the smartest men that I know, a guy that I look up to. And every time I see you write notes, I'm always curious what a genius, intelligent guy is writing down on that yellow piece of paper. Can you give me one thing you wrote down? Not even on today's show, but just throughout the day. What's one thing you wrote down? Was it a quote? Was it something you want to go back to? What was it?
It's the same thing, right? It's the 18 steps to winning wholesaling, right? Or I've really put this to 17 steps, but it was just, I'm going through this and I just keep notes on everything that's being said and really good things. You know, when for example, when Jamil says that comparison is the thief of joy, right? I say that all the time now. It's just little things that you pick up. Remember, like I opened this show up with, it's not what you get out of this show, it's what this show gets out of you. What are you going to take from this and implement? How are you going to be better at comping properties? How are you going to be? You want to get really good at comping properties? Find a lot of opportunities so that you're always comping, right? Go out there and be talking to new property owners all the time. And I'm telling you, I would highly suggest you pull properties that are off the market, because the truth is, in the hottest real estate market that we've ever seen, if it's on the market and not selling, they are so crazy with their price that you would have to like really lowball them. And then it just turns into this whole thing, and it usually doesn't go anywhere. So I highly suggest, if you want to make a ton in wholesaling, get off market properties, because people will pay unbelievable amounts for them because there's no inventory. Lock everything up.
I think we should do a couple of more comps, but I want to address some things in the comments. Number one, Rhonda Thomas says, I'm always wondering that about Brent too. Guys, I'm not the only one. Okay. Brent inspires all of us. In fact, none of us would be here without Mr. TTP. The guy's a freaking, he's unbelievable. Anytime he writes something down, I want to know what the hell that is. So Rhonda, we're on the same page. Okay. Second thing I want to address is this. Flashico says, I'm trying to get into wholesaling. I've learned a lot, but I'm wondering really how to analyze which deals off market and on market to go after. Is there any advice you guys have? So Flashico, here's what I would tell you. Please write this down. Go watch the other 68 episodes of Wholesale Hotline. We've been doing this for over a year. There is a tremendous amount of advice. In fact, at the very beginning of this year, we broke it down from episode 1 of the year, 2021, not like the literal first episode, which we did 69 episodes ago. But when we first opened up into 2021, we made a decision as the three-headed monster up here that we were going to go through step by step by step. Like, what is wholesaling was like January 1. What is how to find a list, how to go do this. Literally go start from January, go to iTunes or go to Brent Daniels YouTube or whatever, and go to January, the first week in January, and go through those episodes up until this episode right here. I promise you, we go through paperwork. We go through transaction coordinating. We go through title stuff. We go through how to find properties. And today we're going through how to analyze them. Now, here's the other piece of advice that we've gone over multiple times this episode. Jamil has a show every single Sunday. In my personal opinion, him and Brent are competing for the 2 best shows during the week. Okay. Jamil has a show called Straight Outta Compton on Sunday mornings. Jamil, what time does that start and where can I find it?
5 p.m. on my YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, go subscribe, motherfucker.
5 p.m. on Jamil's YouTube channel, youtube.com, Jamil Damji, right?
What time zone is that, Jamil? So this
Pacific.
can jump on.
Pacific.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Brent Daniels goes live every single Wednesday. Brent, where can people find that and what time do you go live?
That's right. Brent Daniels YouTube channel, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every Wednesday. This Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the future of wholesaling. Are they going to shut us down?
That's a great question. So go watch those.
They'd answer that.
I've got one really good. Can you guys mind if I do a shameless plug?
Please.
Oh,
It's not for Sunday service. Sunday service is completely booked out, sold out, guys. Don't show up to Sunday service. You'll never get in. You guys like the pull away there? Sunday service, 7 p.m. Arizona time. But here's what I really want to talk about is I have an air meet this Saturday. It's a very impromptu air meet. AirMeet is the software that we use. Why the heck do I use AirMeet? Is because I can engage with the audience. I can click on somebody's name in the side chat. They can come on the stage with me immediately and I can have a conversation with them. I freaking love AirMeet. We are polling the nationwide mobile home park list and I am giving it away so everybody can squad up. It's going to cost me close to $50,000 this Saturday. I'm going to give it away and I'm going to encourage everybody in the audience that shows up to that. The link to the air meet is right there. I announced it this morning at like 8 o'clock and by 8:45, I had 500 people. It got completely booked out. We just opened another 100 seats. So get over to that air meet link, sign up for it. It's this Saturday, 10 a.m. We are going to be polling the mobile home park list. In the last 30 days, I have acquired 51 mobile home park pads, all on seller finance at 0% seller finance, 0% interest on seller finance. And we want more. And I want to take you guys through this journey. Our goal is to get to 150 pads by the end of the year. And I want you guys to watch me. And I want you guys to go squad up with my sub 2 students. Come to the air meet. I will introduce all of you guys to my students so you have people to take you by the hand and walk you through the valley of the shadow of death through the mobile home park situation. So mobile home park live on Saturday. I'm going to be giving away a massive list so you guys can squad up. The link is right here to sign up. There is 100 seats. Unfortunately, there are 400 people on this live right now. So not everybody's going to be able to get in. So jump on that live. And sorry, that was a very long tangent I went on. I apologize.
That's okay. While you were doing that, and I know we're out of time, but there was one person who had a deal here in Detroit. I comped it, and it was, who was it here?
Can you do the screen share? Because I can't see your screen on the on the side chat.
It's gone now. But it's Grexcellent Solutions, 4212 Seneca, Detroit, Michigan. He has it under contract for $65K. Bro, that house is worth $170,000. You got it at a good deal. Reach out to Carson Demick. Go search my friends list and find Carson Demick. He's the king of Detroit. He'll help you sell that.
Okay, so can we comp one last property? I took up the last 4 minutes and I feel really bad.
Let's go.
Are you comped out? Or are you ready to comp one more?
Bro, I can do this all day long.
Please.
Okay. I think we comp this one.
Okay.
Because
Love
he
it.
did call us the 3-headed monster, and I do appreciate that.
I like that too. I like that.
Thank you, Zelko. He says, 3-headed monsters. Can we discuss Indianapolis market? I love Indianapolis market. Seems like it's super hot right now. Everybody. And Zelko's such a solid guy, by the way. I don't know if Brent has met Zelko, but I know Jamil has met Zelko.
He looks super familiar, man.
He's a hitman in the mafia. If you look at his photo, you can tell. He's in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And Jamil and I have spent a lot of time in Texas the last 12 months. So here's the address. Jamil, you tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. Can you see it?
I can see it. The address is 12640 Apsley Lane, Apsley Lane. That is in Carmel or Carmel, however you want to say that. I got married in Carmel, California. It's spelled the same way, but it's pronounced Carmel.
Yep.
12640 Apsley Lane, Carmel, Indiana, 46032. Looks like you found it.
Yes. It's a 2006 built, 2656 square foot, 3-bed, 3-bath. Batch estimates the value at $377,000. This one here is a 2-story single family house sitting on a 3920 square foot lot. So basically all house, no yard. Let's see what it's worth.
Ooh, while you do that, I want to answer this question of Andrew, one of my students, amazing kid out of Southern California. This is a great question. He says, how do you guys decide on opportunity costs and move forward with wholesaling it BRRRR versus Airbnb? First and foremost, BRRRR sucks, so I don't do the BRRRR, okay? That's first and foremost. We did the BRRRR about 5 months ago. We do it probably once, twice a year when we really want a property, like a very specific property is the only time I will use the BRRRR for a very specific property. Andrew, depending on whether I want to wholesale it or I want to turn it into an Airbnb, in your journey, your answer always comes down to number one, there's probably 3 factors, but number one, what is your current financial situation is always going to determine your exit strategy. If I don't have the money, I don't have private lenders, I don't have whatever, I don't have resources, wholesaling, even a creative finance deal is always your first step. So if you're low on cash, wholesale it. Wholesale the cash deal, wholesale the sub 2, wholesale the seller finance, wholesale the novation agreement, wholesale the note, whatever the heck you have to do. If you are low on cash, the answer is always going to be wholesale.
Yep.
Okay. Brent Daniels talks about this frequently. Wholesaling is the gateway drug to becoming wealthy. It is the
and I
gateway.
think Andrew, just while Jamil's doing this, I think that it's important that you replace your you open up your schedule, replace your job by wholesaling, get a good income, get it consistent, get it so that you can get into this business full time if that's what you choose to do, and then pay off your consumer debt, whatever consumer debt you have, and now you're rocking and rolling. Now you've got some really good discipline. Now you're not paying interest. You're not taking your cash flow that you'd be getting from these fantastic creative financing deals and throwing it back to some creditor that you have. And then you're playing with house money, buddy, and you're just rocking and rolling and crushing it. So
back to this house, guys. We do have one fairly similar house. It is a 2-story, also built in 2005. Ours is 2006. It is a little over 200 square feet larger, so I don't love it, but it's close enough. But I'm going to make some adjustments because this sale was 2019, and we're in 2021, right? So that's a while ago. However, this is Carmel, Indiana, and that is a low demand, low appreciation area. It's probably gone up about 5%-ish, maybe 6% per annum. And so we've got a little bit of appreciation there. I'm going to say that when you adjust for square footage, that takes you down to about $480K. When you increase and adjust up for appreciation for the last 2 years, that's going to take you to about 510. So I'm going to call this one at 510 ARV. That's the end of it, guys.
So if 510 ARV, where do I need to buy it at?
Well, typically in a low demand, low appreciation area for a cosmetic remodel, you need to be somewhere at about 50% of ARV. Okay. So if I'm gonna go offer on that one, if that house is worth about 510, I'm gonna be trying to buy that thing around 260. And you can see that that's not out to lunch. And why is that? Look at these cash sales that have happened.
And you're going 260 on that because of the size of the house?
In a low demand, low appreciation area. That's where you need to be. It's around about 50%. Now, this was built in 2006, so you could probably get to about 60% there. So if you wanted to adjust up and really give the seller as much as you could possibly give them, you could probably go to about 310.
Awesome.
And here you're going to see there's some cash sales that have happened over here.
Okay, so I'm going to say one last thing, and then we're going to let Jamil and Brent take the show home, guys. We got basically 375 people watching right now. We had well over 400 people watching today. I know everybody got tremendous value. I know that. But there's a lot of people we were not able to comp. Okay. We were not able to comp a lot of properties today. So what I did is I just put the link to Jamil's YouTube is right here on the screen. And I'm going to read it out loud for you guys if you're on the iTunes or Spotify podcast. It's youtube.com/Jamil Damji. That is JamilDamji. Jamil Damji. How long are you on the show on Straight Outta Compton?
We do it for an hour every Sunday.
So what I would do, and this is what I've gotten some really good feedback from some of my students, okay? My students will actually jump into Jamil's YouTube live and they will comp the property beside him while he's doing it. So somebody else comes up with the address, they run to Batch Leads or PropStream, whatever the comping tool is of their choice, and they will try and run comps with Jamil and see if they come up with the same number. It's a fun game for a lot of people to play, and it's a great way for you to get a lot of practice. So learn how to comp by literally copying Jamil as he's going through his flow and see how quickly and what does he go through and all that kind of stuff. Jamil Damji, Straight Outta Compton, Sunday afternoon, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I already give you the YouTube link. Go subscribe to that and set a reminder for his show on Sunday. So you remind yourself while you're taking a nap on your couch on Sunday that Straight Outta Compton's about to start.
And guys, I'm sorry I cussed a little bit on the show today.
Hey,
not my usual, but whatever.
Well, you know, it's every so often you got to speak French. You know what I mean? No
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great show, guys. That's number 69, Comping and Valuing with Jamil Damji. You guys do not miss out on a straight out of Comping. If you're kind of nervous about, is this a deal or no deal? That's the place to go to watch it and really see the breakdown, the way that he is using the comps and the way that he's pulling the values out of these and making sure that it is a true deal. So, Jamil, fantastic. Fantastic. Everybody else, guys, if you haven't already clicked that link that Pace put out, you're crazy. 100 spots. I mean, is it filled up? Can you tell, Pace? Is it filled up right now?
93 people have signed up in the
7
last 3 minutes.
more. Come on, 7 more. Where's our action takers? There you go. Get in there, click on that, and get going. Guys, we love you. We come every Monday. We want nothing but success for you. Remember, this business breaks down to 3 parts: lead generation, conversion, and exit strategies. So don't overcomplicate this. Go out there. There are people every single day that need your help. They have a problem that you can solve. Don't try to chase deals. Let them come to you. You're a deal finder, not a deal creator. We love you guys. And that's it.
Love you guys. Later. See you next week.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think